There was a moment, not a dramatic one, actually a pretty quiet one, where something shifted for me, where I stopped seeing my past as the thing that was going to predict my future. I want to talk about that moment and what came after. I grew up with a lot of things working against me, things like trauma, instability, homelessness, substance abuse, mine and other people's. And for a long time, uh, that history felt like something that I was carrying, like a weight that I was carrying that was always going to be there telling me uh, what I was, who I was, and what I wasn't capable of, right? What I can and can't do. And it still does, right? It tries to dictate what what I think about myself, right? But over time, something has shifted in me, and it didn't happen overnight. It wasn't a lightning bolt moment. It was much quieter than that, and it has changed how I see and how I move through everything now. I want to talk about that shift today because I think that a lot of people are carrying that same weight and don't know or don't realize that they can put some of that weight down. So let's talk about the shift. Uh, the moment I'm talking about wasn't about deciding everything was going to be okay. I didn't know that. I still don't know that. And I don't always know that, right? How could you know that everything's going to be okay? I mean, you can have faith, but uh, I was more like this. So I looked at my history and I realized that I have been using it to predict my future. Like the difficult things that happened to me were evidence about what I was allowed to become and who I was. And I started questioning that logic because the difficult things that happen to me, they happen to me. They're not me, right? They don't define me. They're not proof of what I'm capable of. They're proof of what I've survived and what I've been through, proof of what I've been through. That's a different thing entirely. When I started seeing my past as evidence of survival instead of evidence of limitation, something changed in how I made decisions, how I make decisions now. I've started asking, like, what do I actually want instead of what's realistic for someone like me with my past, right? And those are very different questions. I'm not going to pretend that the shift was permanent or clean. I still have so many days where the old story gets very loud, where my brain tells me that the gap between where I started and where I want to be is too large. I've had meltdowns since the shift. I've had setbacks. I think, I think, I think that those two things are a permanent fixture of my life. But how do I work through them going forward? Well, I have a lot more information, a lot more lived experience, right? So the difference is that I come back now, right? I come back to it now. I come back to the question of what do I actually want, right? And I keep building toward it slowly and imperfectly. Uh, so that's what I'm doing with this channel. This is me building something that I actually want, a way to help people create community and hold myself accountable from a starting point that didn't look like this was possible. Here's what I want for you. I don't know your history. I don't know what you're carrying, but I know that if you're here watching this, you're still trying. And that means the story isn't finished yet. You're still writing it. Your past is evidence of what you survived, not a ceiling of what you're allowed to build. I want you to sit with that, okay? Not as a motivational phrase, as an actual question. What have you survived? And what does that say about what you're capable of? Subscribe to On Track with Jeff. This whole channel is about staying on track while the story is still being written. Follow along and drop a comment. What's something from your past that you've been letting define your future? That's a good one. You don't have to share details. Just name it, right? That's the first step. Name it. See you guys.